I recommend Paul to whoever wants to increase their production and patience. Thank you.
If you're looking for some help with your marketing, Paul's the one.
I look forward to continually working with him on cosmetic cases and the internet, and I would definitely recommend him to anyone.
I can wholeheartedly recommend Paul Special, a marketing manager and consultant for dentists.
I would highly recommend Paul for any dentist who wants to increase new patient flow and
if you're looking for new patients, if you're looking to take your practice to the next level, I think definitely sitting down with Anello Solutions and Paul and seeing what he can do for you. And I would gladly recommend him highly to any.
Good evening and welcome to Late Night Dental Marketing Talk with your host Paul Speziali, or Paul on Dental Town. It is now 4:30 in the morning, so I want to thank all you insomniacs out there for calling in and giving your questions and listening in at this time. Incidentally, if you like good coffee and you want to stay up for several hours on end, I recommend you try some of this. It's called Lavazza. It's espresso. It's very good. It smells good. And you cook it up in one of these things. It's called the Bialetti. You put it on your stove. You put the coffee in the Bialetti. And a few minutes later, you have delicious coffee that'll make you stay up for hours. The most common question I get, and I'm talking 95%, is how do I 10% or 20% or double my new patients? Sometimes it's because they're unsure of what to do. Sometimes it's because they know what to do, they just don't have the ability to do it because they're so busy at work, or they don't want to go, or they're not interested in doing all the fine details about how to do the marketing. Now, whether you're lots of competition around, hygienists are opening up their own practices now. You have competition from many other dentists opening up. More marketing being done by other dentists and that kind of thing. At the same time, our uncertain economy is keeping people a little bit strange. They used to be able to, because they were hoping for a better day and they had optimism about what's to come, people used to spend money like drunken sailors. And so therefore, a lot of marketing did work just on the merits that you were marketing to them. It was easy for them to drop money and then come in. Nowadays, you have to be extra strategic, extra innovative, and extra focused on your marketing in order to break through the clutter and to overcome a lot of those barriers that are in people's heads right now, to make them go into their hard-earned money and cough it up for something that A, they don't like going to the dentist, and B, they don't like spending all that kind of money, whether they have insurance or not. Now, there are a few ways we can get you new patients, and I know this because I've tested everything. I'm only going to provide you with the things that I've tested, and because the last 5 years I've spent working in dental offices, I've listened to hundreds of new patient calls, and I know what they're asking for, and I know what's going on, and I've tested almost every possible marketing test you can possibly imagine. And so therefore, I'm putting together the 10 things that I think you should be looking at first and foremost. And these 10 things require, some of them are short term, some of them are long term, but they, in the end, allow you to not work as hard and allow the staff to not work as hard to get these new patients. And that's the goal for it, to leverage yourself. So the first one is measure everything. Now, you need to measure all the variables that happen, and there's some that you know and some you don't know. You know the number of bookings that you get. You know the number of bookings, the number of shows that you get. You measure probably all your production. You measure probably all your internal office stuff, like different codes, the production per code, and those kinds of statistics. But are you measuring clicks to your website? And from the clicks, are you measuring inquiries? So say, for example, phone calls just with a question, or walk-ins just with a question. How many people are calling you based on your marketing that aren't booking? Now, if you ask the staff, they'll say none, because they can't remember all the calls that are coming in. And at the same time, if someone calls in from one of your marketing pieces and they ask a question, then the staff will answer the question. If it wasn't good enough, then the patient will leave, and that will gone lost. So you could be throwing away thousands of dollars just by not tracking your inquiries. So also at the same time is when you measure these things, then we can improve them. So we can see the numbers increase, we can see things happening, and when things are happening, not only do you have proof, but you provide additional motivation to yourself to keep going with it, and you provide motivation to your staff. We always like to see progress. And okay, so the next one is, and what's related to measuring those variables, is testing and tracking. Now for testing, you could read some of these books such as Tested Advertising Methods. We have Tested Sentences That Sell, Scientific Marketing, and of course Dan Kennedy's No BS Direct Marketing. Now the point of all those